Disconnected. This is Tuesday, July 2nd. There are 22 days until San Diego Comic-Con 2024. Welcome to SDConCast, the official podcast of the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog.
VANUHTEE go. Oh my God, I love Live Journal and my Live Journal loves me. Current movies, hyperactive, current news, Refuge 73. I love the color scheme in pink and purple.
Hello, everybody. I'm your host, James Riley, and joining me on the podcast, as always, Carrie Dixon.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we have two special guests tonight. And the first one is Germain Lussier, IO9 and Gizmodo senior reporter.
Hello. Thanks for having me back, everybody.
And later, after Germain, we will have Tom Vargas from Factory Entertainment. So let's get into it. Welcome again, everybody. SDCC is so close. I think we can smell what they're cooking. We'll take your comments and questions during the show. You can tweet us at SD_comic_con or use the hashtag SDConcast. We will also keep an eye on the YouTube live chat if you wish to comment or ask questions there. So let's go. Let's talk to Germain and Carrie. Why don't you get us started?
Sure. So, Germain, we are so grateful that you come on the show every year. We love talking Comic-Con and movies with you. And especially after we've had two kind of weird years at the convention, I think we're all hoping it's a little bit more of a return to normal this year. Is that sort of the vibe you're getting?
I was thinking about this before I came on, obviously, and it is and it isn't, right? I mean, I think the one thing that we know about movies at Comic-Con this year is that Marvel is back. And also, you kind of know that that's all we really need. You know, like, as long as Marvel's there, it's kind of cool. And you're kind of like, okay, well, we got Marvel because we know that Marvel's not going to disappoint. And they have plenty of stuff to talk about and reveal or, show. They do have D23 a couple of weeks later, but I think they've had that problem in the past and figured ways around it. So I think even if it's just Marvel, it'll be pretty good. It's not going to be just Marvel. I mean, there will be other things. I know Disney's been bringing a couple other movies. You know, they have a certain movie from space that comes out in August called Alien Romulus. I have a feeling that'll have a little bit of a presence. And beyond that, like I did a little digging. I've been life's been a little crazy last month, so usually I'm not as informed as I have been. But the second question everybody usually asks is, if Marvel's there, what about DC? We do know James Gunn has said he's not going to be there, and from what I've heard, that is true. So I don't think DC movies are going to be there, but everybody asked about Warner Brothers movies, gave me like the no comment. And usually they'll say, oh, no, we're not going to be there. So I got a feeling that Warner Brothers movies will be there. And in some way, shape, or form, I mean, they have a couple big things. I mean, like, they could announce Dune 3 there. You know, they have Beetlejuice being the big next one coming out. They have Joker. They have Lord of the Rings. We haven't seen the animated version. We haven't seen anything from. They have plenty of things that they could do that are huge Comic-Con properties. And I think that might happen. Will it be a huge Saturday, blow the walls off, almost quite literally Hall H? I don't know that, but it'd be weird not to. And if they did that, how do you not talk about DC movies? But what I have heard though is that DC TV will be on hand. I think we're gonna get some healthy Creature Commandos, which is the actual first kind of startup for James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC universe. I think that's gonna be on hand. And from there, I really don't know. Like, my gut tells me that like Lionsgate might show up. They've been there in the past. Yeah.
So the booth schedule came out today, like the floor map, and Lionsgate does have a booth, which they definitely don't every year. So that is definitely a good sign.
Yeah. They have Borderlands and The Crow in the next like month and a half. And it's like, oh yeah, those kind of feel Comic-Con-y, right? Like, if they need to spend some money, that would be that. Beyond that, like, yeah, I mean, you just don't, a lot of those, the other studios, the big ones, the Sony, your Paramount, your Universal, just have not, been at the con very often in the last couple of years. So, they're probably thinking, is it worth it? Maybe one or two of those show up. I'd love to, like, I know, Carrie, you'd like to see some more Venom stuff. I doubt so. I just don't think Sony could show up without like Spider-Man news. Like, if they did a whole panel, it would be like the year that Warner Brothers showed up and like didn't have a Batman Begins trailer and then released it like 3 days later. Like it would be hard to do that. So though they have Craven as well, so they could maybe do something. I doubt it. And I also like to go to in terms of Lionsgate. Every year I do CinemaCon, which is kind of Comic-Con for movie theater owners, right? They just show this cool stuff, and you can only get in if you're industry. And they showed a ton of footage that hasn't been out there yet, right? For every studio, well, except Sony. Sony didn't show up, which is weird because they always show up in years past at CinemaCon. But that's where I saw I've already seen footage from Captain America, Brave New World. I've seen, I saw a huge scene from Alien Romulus. They showed, that's where they debuted like the new Joker trailer, which is out now. And then Lionsgate had Ballerina, which is the John Wick movie that got bumped back till next year. So they have that stuff ready to go. So yeah, that's my guy. And honestly, and the other thing I was thinking about when it comes to this is one of my favorite all-time Comic-Con Hall H memories was Francis Ford Coppola doing Twixt, where he had this really weird movie and had everybody like chant and stuff. And people still talk about it, and it didn't do anything. Nobody saw the movie. But he has this big sci-fi movie that he's releasing in a couple of months called Megalopolis with Adam Driver. And he's footing a lot of the bill himself. So who knows? But I would not be surprised, and I would be absolutely delighted if we got Francis Ford Coppola back in Hall H. So those are my general, yeah, it would be cool, right? So those are my general thoughts. Is I think it's going to be a return to form. Not quite the big years of 5-6 years ago, but a step in the right direction, which is something because like you said, D23 is a couple weeks later, and Disney will be blowing that out for sure.
So I want to go back to talk about Marvel. So the biggest question is Deadpool versus Wolverine. I mean, if it was anything else, like something coming out the weekend of the con would basically mean like nothing happens at the convention. But like they have to do something, right? Like
yeah, I was thinking about it because the problem is like 90%, 80% of the people there won't have seen it yet. There's no theaters in the gas lamp. They can't bring people there, you know? And I don't think they would do free screenings on opening weekend anyway if it's there. Yeah, I have no idea what they're going to do. I think they kind of have to just talk about it, maybe bring the guys out, and then maybe be like, cover your ears for spoilers. I just think it would be hard to ignore it. And I think maybe like everybody who's listening, your Comic-Con duty is to find a way to see that movie before Saturday afternoon, because I think it will be important. But that's just speculation. I was thinking that too. I actually, at the top of my list here was Disney, Marvel, what Deadpool, Wolverine. And you're absolutely right. I think they have to do it. What do you guys agree, or do you think they're going to ignore it? What do you think?
I mean, I think they have to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's opening weekend. It's what everybody is talking about, like especially in that crowd. Like to ignore it just feels like insane to me.
And we all know Ryan Reynolds is just, I mean, he's a ham, so he's going to do something, right? He has to do something.
They could show it, right?
They
I mean,
could.
they could do a whole H panel and then at the end be like, we don't have this movie in theaters. You guys want to watch it? And to just play it Saturday night. You know, but that would be probably be spoiled based on if there's another panel in Hall H, you know. Is Kevin Smith back Saturday night or is it just nothing? If there's nothing and they have Marvel 5 to 6 or something, maybe. That's probably not the environment everyone would want to see that movie in, and everybody would bootleg the crap out of it, but I think that could be a fun surprise potentially.
So one question we've been getting a lot is if they do go that route, like is Marvel's panel still on Saturday, or would they possibly like do it earlier since the movie comes out?
That's a good question. I don't think you lose that slot. I just don't think you can. And especially it's kind of the grand finale Comic-Con. Obviously, a lot of things happen on Sunday, but Hall H especially, you know, the big rooms get real TV heavy on Sunday, and usually the smaller, not smaller, but you know, less IP driven shows.
Yeah.
Doctor Who is pretty big. We usually get Doctor Who that day. We won't this year, but like, you know, things like that. So no, I don't think they move it, but I guess yeah, I mean, like hypothetically, could they do a Thursday night, which is opening night really, and then show it then, yeah, maybe that would be cool. That would be pretty awesome, as a matter of fact. To even I probably, knock on wood, will have seen it by then for work. But I would watch it again with 7,000 people who are just like dying to see it. I mean, that's 70 grand they're getting rid of. There's probably more like 140 grand they're getting rid of, but it might be worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna make
Absolutely.
its money. As long I don't think they have to worry about 100 grand.
Right. That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. But I think that and Marvel has so much else. Like I said, Thunderbolts is still filming. Captain America, they're doing reshoots, but like I said, they have a ton of footage. The other Agatha coming out, they'll definitely talk about that. Daredevil, that's probably done or close to it. I think it's done, actually. Yeah. So they could have that. And then, of course, the big thing that we've already seen now is the banners with the Fantastic Four. And the article that came out a couple days ago, last week, about the Fantastic Four, Kevin Feige made a very specific point to say, oh, it starts filming the day after Comic-Con. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, so you mean everyone's going to be together already? It's not like everybody flies in on day one. So if that
Correct.
especially just the main cast, it'll probably be it could probably be everybody. If they're, I mean, we don't know if like Galactus shoots on day one, so if Ralph Ellison to be there, but the main four will probably be there. Like that's like your easy money bet that we get to see the Fantastic Four for the first time. And maybe some kind of sizzle or something quick and easy. But, who knows? It's harder when they haven't shot anything. The cast alone will be enough.
Yeah, that would I would love to see that. That's actually the thing I think I might be looking forward to the most, is if they do bring the cast for Fantastic Four, because that's like it's just the thing I'm looking forward to the most out of Marvel for the next few years, I think.
I agree. Until we know more about these Avengers movies, right? Like until we
Yeah.
know who, especially now that Kang is done and Jonathan Majors is out, who's the next big bad? Who's going to be together? Is Spider-Man coming back? I think a Spider-Man 4 would probably be the only thing for me that would trump the Fantastic Four. But yeah, right now for sure, it's gonna be so cool to see, and it's a period movie. They just are at a perfect time of like if you take that movie versus Superman, right? Superman, we've seen all the set photos they're filming in Cleveland right now. They're in the middle of production, so they would have to stop production, leave, come back. Well, I mean, it's also 3 weeks away, so who knows where production is in 3 weeks? But like it's in the middle of everything. They still know what's going on. Who, if James Gunn and his team are still shooting, who has the time to like edit something or sizzle? He's not going to show up without the goods, like he did with Guardians and Guardians 2. So I think Fantastic Four, though, they haven't done anything. So they're all primed, ready to go. They don't know what the movie's going to be yet, but they can just come, be excited, promote it, and be like, see you next summer. Potentially, because how are they going to finish that movie in like less than a year? I have no idea. But unless there's not that many effects. I guess Invisible Woman's an easy effect, but that's about it.
So, on that note, how much of upcoming movies for Marvel do you think actually get announced at the convention, or do you think they just focus on like what we already know?
Yeah, I think they're going to kind of reset the table, right? Because last time was the big Blade panel. They announced the two Avengers movies. Now we don't know what's going on with any of that. They didn't know Deadpool Wolverine at that time. So I think we're going to get like a reset. He's going to be like,
Right.
hey, we had this thing, pandemic, strikes. Let's throw it out. Here's the new one. And I think from there, like we'll definitely get a new project here or there. I think I've read rumors about like Shang-Chi 2, and like people have talked about like Young Avengers. Is that one of the Avengers movies? Um,
So you
yeah,
mentioned D23 coming up in a couple
yeah,
weeks after that. What they did in the past is they showed the timeline, hey, this is what's coming out for the next 2 years. And it was like, oh, everyone's like, yay, at Comic-Con, it's cool, and show us some footage from Avengers and blah, blah, blah. And it was awesome. And then at D23, they basically did the same thing, but then they added new things into the timeline that they didn't reveal at Comic-Con. So do you think that's what they're going to do? I mean, that's essentially like a game plan that they can just copy again.
yeah, absolutely. But also, what's different this year with D23 is that in years past, it's been like they had a Disney animation panel and a Disney live
Yeah.
action panel, and this year it's just like Disney Entertainment is one day
Yeah.
and one panel, like 3 hours. So they're gonna have to stuff so much stuff in. So I honestly feel like it might be if if they have to kind of differentiate, it might be heavier movies at Comic-Con, heavier TV at D23. Um, that would be maybe my guess, just
I think
because.
that's what they did when they announced
Yeah,
the new things, because they announced like She-Hulk and a few
that's
other
right.
TV shows at
Miss
D23.
Marvel. Yeah,
Right.
you're 100% right. Yeah, I think that feels like a good kind of base to start at.
Right.
But like I said, that's a whole other podcast. But very curious about that D23 thing. It's at the it's
At
at
the
the
Honda.
Honda
Oh,
Center.
I have
Everybody's got to
thoughts
take.
about that.
They got to take. They're doing shuttles, and then they're doing cars and
We
parking. It's
we
gonna be crazy.
purposely did not get tickets for that because we knew that it was D23 and they can't really run logistics of a convention.
No.
They can program better than anybody, but they can't actually run a convention well.
And yeah, this is like it was bad enough just putting everybody into one room,
Right?
right? Like, oh my
Yeah.
God. I had my and people are gonna be mad at me for this, but I swear it's true. I go and I have a press pass, so I usually get a reserve seat. And when my wife doesn't care about Comic-Con, hates Comic-Con, but she loves D23. So she always buys like whatever the best badges to get a great seat. In the past, she's been like a sorcerer,
Right.
and she's been like other couple years, she got like other things. So she has like a reserve seat this year. But in previous years, talking about that, the reason she did that, because previous years she would line up like overnight and she'd be like pretty far up in the line, but they were so bad at logistics. They would fill up like her section on the right, and then people who got there like 3, 4, 5 hours later would have much better seats.
Yeah.
Just like completely unfair. At least Comic-Con, it's like free for all. Just go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. We got into D23 bashing here.
Yeah, I like D23, but I'm not looking forward to those
They have
panels.
been some of the most exciting and awesome panels I have ever seen,
Totally.
but I hate lining up for that show.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Actually, let's talk about a little bit about this, about the movies of Comic-Con, and how do you think that the movie landscape is actually shifting, either at Comic-Con or just in general?
Yeah. I think it's kind of we've seen the pattern for a few years now, and I think at this point it's kind of locked in where the big movies are going to be big, other movies are not, and the streaming movies, which is where you get a lot of your real variety, they're going to kind of come and go. So like this year, Inside Out 2 ended up being the big smash, right? And there's other great movies that we thought were going to hit, Furiosa, Fall Guy, that didn't. So I think Hollywood is, and in previous years, nobody thought Barbie was going to do what it did. No one thought Top Gun was going to do what it did. So like those big event movies, we never can quite predict what they are, but they're still going to be there, and they're still going to be the movies that you talk about, and then you quote and stuff. But like there could be great movies on a Netflix, on a Prime or whatever. Like I'm very excited for this new Beverly Hills Cop movie that comes out tomorrow, but like and nobody's going to talk about it after 2 days because it's on Netflix and it's just buried. So, but a lot of great filmmakers and a lot of actors are making their money that way these days because that's where movies are being made. It's much harder to get Barbie made than it is to get A Family Affair starring Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman. Like those movies get made a lot. So the movie landscape is kind of like it's almost like movies and television were in the 80s, where it's almost like two different classes almost. But on the same time, like that as well, where like a lot of movies failed in theaters and found new life on home video. So many movies are failing in theaters now and are finding new life on streaming. Madam Web, was a terrible movie that, was like the number 1 movie on Netflix for 2 weeks or 3 weeks because it was there and it was available and people are paying, if they have a kind of a budget of whatever it is, $30-$40 a year, a month for movies, most of that could go to Netflix or Prime. So yeah, I think it's like it's a disparate kind of thing in movies now. And I think I don't know where Comic-Con fits in anymore. I think that's kind of the problem with it is it's so expensive to go to Comic-Con. It's so expensive to do it with these great panels that we're used to. A lot of people don't think about, how much it costs to edit those things and the sound and to bring the people in and their teams and the hotel rooms. We have problems getting hotel rooms. What happens when like The Rock brings like 70 people with him? Like where do those people stay? Usually way the heck out. But so and what's the bonus anymore? Like my job as like a film journalist is on the way out. People do my job with no experience on TikTok and make 5 times what I do, just because they're captivating and then have personality. And I think, so are those people going to Comic-Con? If they go to Comic-Con, can they film? Can they not? It's I think I think Comic-Con has to kind of reassess what movies are there. And I know you'll talk about this in another episode, but it's just TV TV products, not TV movies, are kind of, really on the up and have been obviously for several years. Though without, like, I guess Walking Dead will probably be there this year, right? My favorite. Love Walking Dead panels.
The bane of your existence.
Oh my God. That's the only thing that we don't have as many people covering this year. I'll be like, I can't cover The Walking Dead again. Just a lot of Lord of the Rings.
There you go. There you go. So let's talk about some of the streaming networks. I mean, do we think that any of the streamers bring like any movies? It doesn't happen often, but we have had a couple that have shown up over the years.
Yeah.
Is there anything that makes sense there?
Yeah, nothing pops to mind right away. But especially recently in LA, Netflix Animation held a kind of like press event, and it was basically a whole H panel with like 100 people where they came and they showed us clips and all this stuff. And it was a super cool presentation, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of great stuff. But watching it, you're like, you're like, well, if they're doing this here, they're not going to do it at Comic-Con, right?
Right.
But I mean, I think it really also, I'm trying to think. You could see like maybe Apple or Amazon just because they have more money than anybody. Netflix kind of has a lot of money but spends it in different ways
Mhm.
and are beholden to production, and where the other ones are beholden to us buying stuff. So yeah, I would imagine I'm sure there will be one or two things. But will it be movies? I don't know. I'm hoping we get Severance season 2, right? Off topic, but come on, Apple, give us Severance
I
season
think we
2.
have to. We have to. I
Right?
mean, they brought Severance season 1 like after the first season had completely aired.
Yeah.
And like nobody does that. And the fact that like they will have actual footage to show this time, like how do you not then bring it?
Yeah, blow it out. It would be huge. I think. But it feels Ballroom 20 to me, though, right? Does it feel Ballroom 20? Yeah.
Yeah. But that's okay because Ballroom 20
Okay.
is my favorite.
Ballroom
So.
20 is great. Yeah, it's great.
No,
I'm gonna
I'm
think,
with
by the
you.
way, yeah, I was just gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
I'm gonna after I sign off this podcast, I'm going to open my computer and like 15 streaming movies are gonna come to mind. I'll be like, I should have said those. I'm gonna forget. But yeah,
That's
so
okay.
yeah,
That's okay. So let's talk Amazon real quick. So I know that as we just said, we don't think they have any movies to come, but I mean they have to bring Lord of the Rings, right? Like
yeah. I'm pretty sure Lord of the Rings is gonna be there. I mean, that's just been there. It was a big deal the last time. When I caught COVID, it was a big deal there in 21, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll be back. Um, yeah, the timing of it is pretty soon after there. They'll show some stuff. They'll bring some people out. I don't know though. Like as much as I enjoyed that first season of that show, I'm not really excited or anticipating it in any way coming back. Though I said that about House of the Dragon, and I'm caught up on the new season, and I'm like loving it again. I was like, just fell right back in. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't think people are going to be like super duper excited on the day, but if they have some really great stuff, give me some rings, give me some Sauron, give me some stuff from the movies that we know that you're going to link up to. Tom Bombadil is in this season. That people can go nuts for a little Tom Bombadil. Yeah, I think that's there, and I think it's a kind of a big Friday deal probably. Schedule comes out this week or next week? You guys it's 3 weeks?
Next week.
3 weeks.
Yeah, next week. It'll be the 11th through the 14th. So next Thursday to Sunday.
All right. The big days. Yeah.
I know. The con being a week later has like totally thrown off everything for me this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to know, I'm sure Marvel is the number one thing you're looking forward to, but outside of Marvel, if you could have like anything this year, like what would it be? And why is it The Walking Dead?
Why is it Walking Dead? I just want to see Walking Dead. All right, honestly, what it is the new Karate Kid movie that's coming out for Sony next year. I'm a Karate Kid super fan. I love Cobra Kai. I bet Cobra Kai will be there, I would imagine. The new season, first half will be out, the first third will be out, so they can tease what's next. But yeah, like again, but it's Sony, so it won't be there. But I just,
See,
yeah, it's hard. But I'm such a big fan that like I don't know what that movie is. I don't know how it fits in. I'm like, are they just doing the same story? Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio together? I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Like, so yeah, that's kind of my dream. It won't happen, but I'd love to see it happen. Would be a Karate Kid panel, or maybe on the Cobra Kai panel if they do one, they'll tease it. But those guys don't have anything to do with it, so unless somebody asked about it, yeah. So that's my one.
Okay, no, that's a good answer. Okay, James, do we have any questions in the chat?
Lots of comments agreeing about things like Severance and also Silo. Hoping to see Dune
Love
Prophecy, House of Dragon, all those things.
Yeah.
But not really too many questions. I think actually Germain answered a lot of the ones I saw as he was talking. So
I wasn't even looking. I wasn't even looking.
Yeah. So the only thing mentioned is something that obviously I don't think is going to happen, but some people say they're really excited if One Piece shows up. But I don't think One Piece will show up because they're just now starting production on season 2.
Depends on where they're shooting, right? I mean, if they're shooting anywhere, I don't know where
Isn't
they
it
shoot
like
that show.
South Africa?
Well, if it's South Africa, they're not going to be there. If it's South Vancouver, maybe they'll see them, I don't watch the show. I know it's got a lot of fans, but I know it's crazy popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would still like to see another, to answer the other second of the other question again, is as much as I know, James Gunn said he's not going to be there and he's not going to do it. And the people I've talked to said no DC movies. If Warner Brothers is there, like I'm guessing at this point, how do you not give us like video or something, especially now with like the stuff that's out there, right? All the set photos that leaked, they shot on location. We know that there's supposed to be a Batman director. We know that Supergirl is cast, and I like I said, I know for a pretty good idea that they're going to at some point talk about the first animated show, Creature Commandos, which Gunn like is a big part of. So yeah, I would love to see a tease. I just think, I mean, because by next Comic-Con, Superman will be out, I think, depending on what week it is. It might be another Deadpool situation where it's like right there. But yeah, I mean, like I know James, you're not going to be there, but send us something, man. Send us something. If Warner Brothers is there, if they do like Joker 2, and then they're like, see you later, and like be like, come on, Matt Reeves Batman maybe would be, that might appease people if we got some news on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we are all looking forward to at least a closer to normal Comic-Con this year. And I know we are definitely looking forward to seeing you around at the convention this year.
Thank you.
So, Germain, why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you online?
Sure. Again, thank you for having me. I love talking about this stuff. I'm sorry I didn't have more concrete information. Next year I will do my best. Yeah, I work for IO9, which is part of Gizmodo. You can head to gizmodo.com and find my stuff there. And I'm on most of the socials, not all, but most, X, Instagram, all that kind of stuff at Germain Lussier. My full name, no spaces. And thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in San Diego in 22 days.
Yeah, that's so scary.
I know.
Okay.
All
awesome.
Right. Thanks,
Good night, you guys. Talk to you later.
Night.
All right. So up next, we have Tom Vargas from Factory Entertainment, who James is letting in right now.
Opening the door. Say, welcome in, Tom. There he is.
Hey,
Hello.
everybody. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful. Nice to see some friendly faces. I missed you guys, especially last year. So really excited
I know.
to, get up and running and back in San Diego.
Yes,
Nice.
absolutely. And we appreciate you doing this late at night. So
Oh
thank you
no,
very much.
absolutely. Anytime. I'm always happy to be here, and thanks for having me.
So, for anybody who doesn't know, why don't you just talk a little bit about Factory Entertainment and what it is that you do there?
Yeah, sure. So I've been with Factory Entertainment since the beginning. We opened in 2011, and we are a manufacturer of officially licensed collectibles from all sorts of different brands. Some favorites like Star Trek and The Goonies, Harry Potter, Batman, just to name a few. And we just make a lot of fun, nerdy, geeky stuff, and with a lot of passion. We're a tiny company, but we like it would appear at times that we appear bigger than we are. But no, just really three guys making products, a couple people selling them, and just having trying to have as much fun as possible.
Love it. Well, you guys have a really stellar lineup of exclusives this year, and we're going to get into all of that. You guys have announced all of them now, but I actually just want to ask, which one are you personally most excited for this year?
Oh geez. That's always a great question because I love them all. That they're like your children, and especially when you have such hands-on and working on each one of these. But I would have to say the Cat's Paw Enterprise that we just announced last week, which is a one-to-one replica. So what's interesting about that, just a quick backstory, is we were trying to find items that we could create or prop replicas that we could create that were a little smaller in footprint, but also a little bit more economic for collectors. So we started that trend with our Goonies Copper Bone Skeleton Key prop replica, of which we had two versions. One that had a patina on it, and another one that we called a polished version, which was actually a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from a couple years ago. And this is one of those items. We also have some James Bond items that are perfect fits the box type of product. But what's great about these is they're easy to transport, and they're perfect for Comic-Con because everybody is short on room with their bags. And so what we try to do is we try to accommodate that and also make it at a price point, because most of our prop replicas they can be pretty pricey. But let me show you guys what it actually looks like. I have it here with me. I have all of the exclusives. We only have 7 this year. Usually we have a crap ton, which is actually, I think, a mathematical term. But this year, this is what we got. So this is the Cat's Paw Enterprise, and it was originally seen in the original series during the Halloween episode back then. And so the ship on the inside is made out of aluminum, and this is again 1-to-1 scale, and it's really, really great. You see a little bit more there. I think this is the first time that it's been seen outside of photos. So it's a limited edition item, and it only goes for $100, and it's available online to order, shipping in August if you place your order online, and it's also available at our booth during the show. So that is the one I am personally most excited about. And just one update on that too. This is one of our better selling prop replicas or exclusives that we've released. So if you haven't done so yet, and you're interested in it, I would highly encourage you to get one.
Yeah, your Star Trek exclusives, I know, have a history of selling out. I want to talk about the House of the Dragon prop replica crown. And I know that a lot of the times when you guys do the prop replicas, like you actually get to go see the prop. Was that the case there?
So we didn't actually get to see that in person, but what we were provided with was exclusive access to assets from the studio. We've seen plenty of props in the past, and we have a great partnership with the folks over at Warner Brothers, among many others. And in this case, we had some pretty early access to the crown itself. And so we ended up doing a 1-to-1 version. And so the exclusive for this year is actual scaled version. And so our scale prop replica line, in case people are unfamiliar with it, they're great for people who want to display high-end collectibles made of premium materials in tighter environments. So for instance, like I think they're perfect for my office, even though I have a bunch of stuff in my office, but I can have them on my desk and like fiddle with them. And so this is great for that. As you can see, it's a smaller version of our 1-to-1 scale crown that we produce. It's made out of all metal. And it comes with a display base that you can put it on. So it just sits on there very nicely and very easily. So it's just a great little thing. And also, I mean, it's a little heavy. You can probably put it on a cat, but if you're into that type of thing.
That's funny. Well, as you mentioned, for anybody who does want the full size, you obviously do already offer that.
So
Yep, yeah, that's
Gee.
available on our website as well. Sorry, what subjects?
no, I was just gonna say the other thing you guys do that I really love are the bottle openers.
Mhm.
And this year, the Peacemaker helmet bottle opener, I think, is stellar. So can you talk
Thank
about
you.
making
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. It was kind of an inspiration. With our bottle openers, we try to make them different than your standard bottle openers. You know, a lot of companies, what they'll do is they'll just produce something that is found and just slap artwork on it. So just a little bit of backstory on that, because it is kind of like thematic to San Diego. The first bottle opener that we ended up producing that looked more kind of like a prop or had something more to it than just like a bottle opener, was our Hand of the Queen bottle opener from Game of Thrones. And it was perfect because you got that classic line, "I drink and I know things," that you can put on the back of it. And it was our fastest selling San Diego Comic Con exclusive that we ever released. And I think part of that reason was because it was so different. I mean, you could wear it as a prop, you could put it on display anywhere, but it also opened bottles, and it was that perfect type of party trick. And it was one of my favorites that I ever had the great fortune of producing. But this year, we tried to go a little different. Like, okay, well, what could we do that's not necessarily like a prop, but still pay homage to, Peacemaker? And this is what we came out with. And I'm hoping, because I don't think the pictures really do it justice, so I'm hoping when people see the scale of this thing and what it actually looks like, it's very mirrored finish. It's all made out of metal. High powered magnets on the back and the opener part there. You'll have to forgive me. There, it looks like there's some fingerprints. I was testing it, just to make sure it's durable. So, but no, it's great. I'm a huge fan of Peacemaker. I heard you guys talking about Gunn. I really hope he comes out there as well, because we could really use some updates. I know that there are a bunch of Warner Brothers DC fans that are hungry for some information, but hopefully something like this can at least tide that.
That one looks way bigger than I thought it was going to be. Honestly,
I hear that a lot,
Same.
but yeah, no,
And-
I think it's a great, it's a great size for what it is. It's huge. I mean, this is
Yeah.
my hand. You can see like it's a lot bigger. So that's why I was saying, like, the pictures don't do it justice, and I want to do more videos.
I love the shininess of it, because I mean, with the Suicide Squad movie, where there was that whole scene where they were shooting in the reflection
Mhm.
around the helmet, it just like invokes that scene to me. When you look at it being like that shiny.
I'll tell you, that thing is a mirror ball. You cannot take a photo of it without getting some type of a reflection. And the last thing anybody wants to see is like my ugly hands, in a camera. So I had to do some tricks to try to get it a little bit better. I can only
That's
imagine
cool.
how they accomplish that on set, though. That has to be a
Right?
nightmare.
They had like a team of digital artists that were the only thing they did was just like erasing stuff off of the helmet for
Right.
the movie.
So your other bottle opener this year is that Battlestar Galactica ship, and that thing is gorgeous. I
Oh,
just
thank
kind of
you.
want to
Yeah.
know. I just want to know, like, how difficult is it to get like that intricate with obviously like something kind of smaller?
So it's interesting because we have so many different types of approaches to development. And so in this case, what we did was we just took a lot of graphic reference that was available. We made an in-house digital sculpt of it, and we send it off, or we actually do some in-house prototyping as well. We'll 3D print it just to make sure that it feels right and it looks right in hand before we make a molded finish or a metal finish. In this case, here you go. Here it is right here. And again, it's all metal. And then just more powerful magnets on the back and the bottle opening component. But this is another different one, because we didn't do ships before this. We did a couple of different executions of things that we thought may look cool smaller, like our hoverboard bottle openers that we did for Back to the Future back in the day. But in this case, we really wanted to just try ships. Interestingly enough, and something that I think that you guys might be interested in as kind of a reveal that nobody else has seen before, is we're also moving to vehicles. And so I have a prototype here that I'd like to share with you guys. It is not an exclusive to the show, but it'll be available later. It's one of my personal favorite items. I might get in trouble with my boss for sharing it, but he's probably not watching anyways. So I won't tell him about it. But anyways, it's our Batmobile 1989 Batmobile bottle opener.
Nice.
And so you can see
That's
the top.
fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's one of my new favorites, and we're hoping to do more. And so there's the bottle opening component, but it feels really good in the hand. So when you're opening a bottle, there you go. It's again, it's one of my new favorites, and I wanted to share that because I think people will find it exciting. I really do.
Coolest Batmobile.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I love the animated series one too, but that'll be for another day, I think.
Those things are so cool.
Speaking of teases, is there anything you can tell us about what items you'll have at the booth, maybe that people won't have seen before?
Oh yeah, a ton of stuff. So if you're a Star Trek fan, and this is going to be a brutal season for Barry and myself specifically, or in particular, and Jordan, the three of us. So we're doing San Diego, and then literally immediately following that, Barry and I are driving a U-Haul over to Star Trek Las Vegas, and getting into what we're revealing. We're revealing a bunch of Star Trek stuff. So if you're a Star Trek fan, pay close attention. We're going to have a bunch of different reveals. And that also kind of spills over into our FE Masterworks line, which we introduced last year. And what we did differently last year, and what we're going to continue to do this year, is we carve out a special portion of our booth that appears to be a bit more of a museum. And we have high-end studio scale ships there that are made by prominent prop makers. And they are big, long ships. Like you have the refit Enterprise from the motion picture, and then you have the Enterprise D from the Next Generation, among other things. But we're also going to have some brand new ships there as well, that I can't talk about at the moment. Some of them are still being made, so we're not even sure if they're going to be there, in full disclosure. But we're really hoping that people are going to be impressed with our continuation of that line. It's not for the faint of heart. The price ranges from $15,500 all the way to $17,000 per ship, and we're still deciding on what the price points will be for the new ones we're going to be announcing. But there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that I think people are going to be impressed with.
Very exciting.
Can't wait to see some of those. So I want to know, kind of like behind the scenes stuff. Most people like they don't really know what goes on with licensing. So can you give like a little bit of like what goes on, like to get these licenses to be able to make these things?
Yeah, it's not too complicated. A lot of it is just relationships that you have with people and earning the trust of the studios. Back when we first started in 2011, there was a little bit of difficulty in obtaining licenses because people didn't really necessarily know who we were. We're all veterans from a larger company called Master Replicas, which is a completely separate company from any other iteration that you had heard of. It was kind of the first company, besides a couple of other ones, that produced high-end collectibles. And that was our pedigree. That's where we came from. And as sort of new kids on the block, when it came to approaching licenses, it was difficult to get meetings because you had to earn their trust, and say or actually prove that you can make these products. In any type of licensing, you have to create product, and you have to pay royalties and earn guarantee, and that could be a challenge for some. That's why, especially in our industry, it can be quite volatile. And we've seen, unfortunately, you see some people come and go, but we really pride ourselves on our longevity and our legacy and what we've been able to do for as long as we have. That's not to say that there hasn't been ups and downs, but our trend is just upward. We produced hundreds of products since 2011 between really three guys. And it's a tremendous honor to have done so. But behind the scenes, it's a lot more administrative work. It's the boring stuff, but at the end of the day, you're producing fun products, and that's what keeps us going. There's really nothing interesting or too crazy to get into there. The more fun behind the scenes times are typically when I get assets, or when I get videos, or just access to things that people haven't seen, that I have to keep zip lips on. But it makes you really excited because you kind of see snippets of things. And so each time I've been over to Warner Brothers before movies come out, and I'm documenting these props that Will Smith has worn, or you get to see like the series of the Batmobiles and the archive on the side. That's the exciting behind the scenes stuff, is when you get to really get one-on-one with these iconic pieces that for me were pieces of my childhood. Well, everybody really, right? And so that's the fun behind the scenes stuff. that goes on with officially licensed product. But again, everything else is just kind of like, it's work.
No, that makes sense. Cars 1223 asked in our chat, is there a license or a property that you haven't worked with yet that you'd really like to?
I started in this industry when I was 22, and I pretty much worked and have done things for every major property. I'm incredibly blessed. Honestly, it's a great way to make a living. There are certainly worse ways to make a living. So I've worked with everybody. I'm trying to think if there's one in particular. I mean, I miss certain properties for sure, and I won't name anything with like lightsabers or anything like that because again, I'll get killed if I do. But that would probably be one. The one in particular would probably be Disney, though, especially anything like Disneyland related. Haunted Mansion's kind of like my huge passion. There's plenty of stuff out there, and there's plenty of great stuff out there, but I think that there's room for more.
Always. So I want to talk a little bit about, as you just mentioned briefly, there's obviously been a lot of turmoil and upheaval in the toy industry and entertainment industry and all other kinds of industries of late. But having said that, how important do you think that San Diego Comic-Con is still to getting the word out about your products for not just Factory, but for like any company?
Yeah, for Factory, it's absolutely essential. It is. We only attend now 2 shows. We used to attend a bit more, but Comic-Con is one that we've always attended since we started the company. And again, it's absolutely essential. It is the biggest platform that we have to connect directly with the people that are interested in our product and that we're selling to, and to get direct feedback and to just interface with everybody. And really just, I mean, even now I'm very analytical, so I start looking at all the trends and what's going on, our sell through, where people are coming on from our site, and the most amount of traffic that we get and buzz that we get is generated from Comic-Con. But beyond that, it's just an incredible experience and show. During the pandemic, it was, I'm sure it's been said 1,000 times, but it was sorely missed. And I'm so happy that we're back at doing it because it is so vital. Jordan, my boss, his son, affectionately refers to it as he refers to his dad as kind of a geek or a nerd, of which we all are. But he refers to it as his dad's Super Bowl. I feel that way too. I thought it was a really kind of like cool way to describe it because, that's it. That's it for us. And so, yeah, it's essential. Absolutely essential.
I like that. It's a good answer. We have a couple more reader questions. Magic Mike asked, "Hey Tommy, can you make a Black Adam Dr. Fate helm prop replica?"
I think I answered you already in an email, dude. Like you're persistent. I love it. If you're the same person I'm thinking about, because there are a couple of people who want to. So as much as I'd love to, I'm going to be completely honest here. Unfortunately, the interest in Black Adam isn't as deep as people would like to believe it is. We made a replica for that series, for that movie, and it's doing pretty good, but it's just one of those products that if we were to make it, I fear, and we collectively fear, that it wouldn't really sell as well to justify mass production. So it becomes difficult to do that. That's one of those really hard type of things that you have to face as a company and as a business, that we have to make money. That unfortunately we just can't really sacrifice it. If there was more interest in it, and if it was a massive hit, and I then we would definitely do it. But it's one of those things where the interest really has to be there. We can't make 50 units of something and make it worthwhile. We have to make at least, a couple hundred at a minimum to make it work. As depressing of an answer as that is, because I understand the passion for a lot of people. That's a great movie. Look, I love Shazam. It's not everybody's thing. But we're not making products for that for a reason. Yeah.
Well, I would love to see some more of your exclusives that I think you have over there. I know we haven't seen the Back to the Future plutonium.
Yeah.
Do you have that one?
Yeah, sure. So I have the plutonium case right here. So Back to the Future is one of our favorite properties that we produce products for. So just in case people haven't seen it already, I'll get into the plutonium case, but we have a 1-to-1 scale flux capacitor. It's the first truly authentic one that's been officially released. It's one of my, to answer, to kind of go back to like, is there a property that you wish you could have worked with? Back to the Future is one I'm always honored to work with, and one of my check the box type of wish fulfillment products was the flux capacitor, and I'm so happy I got to lead that project. And it is a great piece. And not only that, we had Christopher Lloyd do a signature edition for us. So that's also available now on our website, and it is in stock. And so if that's not something that people are interested, because maybe it's too big, we are doing scale prop replicas. So we already released a Mr. Fusion. We already released a Doc's mind control helmet, or not mind control, but mind reading helmet. It's actually has a different name, but it's a lot of people know because of that. But yeah, scaled replica line, and we're continuing now with our plutonium case. So what's great about this piece is it actually is pretty sizable. This thing's pretty heavy too. And what's cool is it actually opens, so you can see inside of it. But you know, yeah, it's one of those great things that you can display. And we are also coming out with a scaled time circuit prop replica, which is about the same size. It's actually it's a little wider, but it's great. And we may or may not, speaking of time circuits, have a surprise at San Diego for people who are looking for something that is more authentic to the actual prop.
Awesome. Very cool. So I know you've got a couple of other items. Do we want to go ahead and show those off?
Sure. I think there's two more. So there's the Batman Returns Batarang scale prop replica right here. And this also comes with an acrylic display stand and base. And again, as you can see, it's the same scale as, if you're familiar with them, it's the same scale as our other Batarangs. So we have the Batman Batarang that we released, or also known as the Batglyph. And we also have the Batman Returns Batarang. And those look really great all side by side. And if you're going back to bottle openers real quick, and I'll show the last thing. One of my favorite bottle openers is the Batarang bottle opener that we did. And we have two versions of that. We have a gunmetal finish and a black finish. And that was a great one because it felt like a prop, small, but it works. So the last one is speaking of props. So we came out with an original series, Star Trek original series phaser. And as a bottle opener, and that did pretty well. And so now we decided we wanted to do a next gen one. So here's that. And it's just a lot of fun to open this up. It's another one of those party tricks that when you're hanging out with some friends, you know, you get your pew pew out, or whatever the kids are calling it, or as my son calls it anyways. And you know, you just you open a bottle with it. The hand phasers in particular are fun. One of my favorite memories from last year over in Vegas was some members of the production team came over and they saw it and they were just enamored with it. So it's always just so gratifying to see that.
Absolutely. Well, you guys do fantastic work. We're big fans. Ellie asked, and yeah, do you want to ask some, James?
Sure. Ellie Champagne asked, any chances of making refillable Star Trek alcohol bottles? For example, Andorian whiskey, Saurian brandy, or unknown it's green.
Oh, that would be great. So we maybe there may be an opportunity for us to create something like that, and it's something that I'm currently looking into. But there are officially licensed liquor companies out there currently selling Star Trek items, or items like that. I sampled some of their vodka, and it was pretty good. So yeah, look out for them. They're pretty cool. But we might have something on the rise in there for that.
And Dave T is a little nervous about buying the plutonium case and whether or not it's going to get him on any lists.
That's a great question. I assure you it's TSA approved. No, don't quote me because I'll get in trouble for that. And also don't screw with the TSA guys. I don't know firsthand at all about what that's like. You want just get on your flight safe. If there's any question, as with everything, I would suggest shipping, but honestly, I think you should be fine. There's plenty of warning stickers on there anyways. I think you'll be all right. But what are you guys looking forward to this year in terms of exclusives? Does anybody just kind of piqued your interest?
Oh,
James, do you want to answer that first?
I am well, I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot that is like must buy, but the BB Create pins that are mixing San Diego landmarks with Star Wars characters look really cool. I like those. So those are the kind of things that like, little things like that that are because there's like you mentioned about how much room you have in your office. It's there's room issues and space issues and too many things issues where I try and not buy a whole bunch of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I I'm not a huge toy collector. Like I tend to like stuff more that's like quirky and fun. And on that note, I actually love Mattel's Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House this year. Like I loved the Barbie movie. So I think that's just so fun. So I'm the opposite of James. I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna like put it. I have no room, but I'll find room. So
I hear you. We're big Barbie fans ourselves, and Mattel is actually one of our more favorite partners to work with, having done a lot of the Masters of the Universe prop replicas and that type of thing. A little quick funny aside story if there's time.
Mhm.
So we saw a lot of the Barbie stuff as it was still in production, and how this works is you don't really know necessarily what's going to be used in the film and whether or not it's going to be something that is prominently featured or if it's going to have any type of real meaning. So they showed us this really cool chess set, and we went out of our way to develop an in-house prototype. I did all the 3D printing and the design and everything else. Barry worked on the board, and so it was a very collaborative and fun experience. The movie comes out, you hardly see it, so we had to kind of put it on the shelf. But cool story, we sent it off to Mattel, and apparently it's sitting in a very like top level executive office. Always a plus side, at least somebody got some use out of it, and it was really fun. But man, that's one of those things where it's like when you're that early into the development cycle, you just don't know whether it's not going to be something that is going to be viable, because you just don't know if it's going to get the screen time that would merit a production. But still, a lot of fun to make. I loved it.
The fun
that's
part of the job.
interesting. That is really interesting because I don't know. I'd never really thought about that. Like I don't know. I guess I would have thought like they would have given you more direction about like this is prominently featured. Like,
well, interestingly enough, they don't know until like the movie's done, until everything has been edited, until the screenings start. People really don't know like what's going to be featured, and so they actually had like 3 different chess sets, and we thought, oh, Barry and I start like assuming like, oh, this has to be featured because they have different ones. It's gonna be so like important to the story. It comes out and it's like, oh man.
not quite.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, so I know that you're a fan, and obviously you love to collect things based on what's behind you as well. So is there anything that is not your guys's that you are looking forward to?
There's always something here and there. If I can tell a quick anecdote about my favorite exclusive, and it's a really kind of off the wall one. So
those are our favorites.
Yeah, and it's a one version of one like exclusive. So, and it's my favorite Comic-Con story. So back in 2019, we just got done finishing the show. Everybody's really tired. And it's gonna sound completely random. My wife and I had been trying to have a kid for a while. And we hadn't really put it out there. We hadn't really said like, oh, we're trying, we're doing this. And so we finally got done. We're at the rooftop bar at the Hyatt, just decompressing. There's like 10 of us. And I just put it out in the universe. I'm like, I really want a kid. I really, really want a kid. I'm ready. I want to have a kid. Go home. Literally like the next day, my wife tests and she's pregnant. And that to me is like the best exclusive, because I feel like, and I'm not a spiritual guy, but I put it out into the universe and it happened. So I feel like that's an exclusive kind of. And so that to me is like the best one.
Nice.
I mean, no one can top that story either. I mean, it's like, oh, you think your exclusive is cool? Like mine is my child.
Right. And I feel like, how weird is that? Because that was the first time like I ever put it out into the universe, like publicly. And I even like, I felt so sure of myself. Little liquid courage helped with that. But it happens like the very next day. That's some universe stuff, I think.
I
That's
love
So
awesome.
good
that.
things happen at
That's
Comic-Con
awesome.
always.
That's right. That's right. Good things happen at Comic-Con. Well, we are so excited to see you guys in person and not just virtual or talk to you through an email. And why don't you tell our readers where they can find Factory Entertainment online?
Yeah, sure. So online, everywhere is just at Factory Ent. E as in Edward, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, short for entertainment.com. And in the middle of August, you can probably find Barry and I hunkered down somewhere, barely alive.
I feel that on a very deep level. All right. Well, we are so grateful to you, Tom, for joining us tonight. And like I said, we can't wait to see you in person here
Yes.
in 22 days.
Yeah, same here. And please stop at the countdown. I can't handle it. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be fine.
All right.
All right. Well, we're going to let you hop off, but we're going to stay on and do the news.
All right. As always, thank you so much, y'all. And I look forward to seeing you guys.
Yep. Can't wait to see you.
Bye.
Bye, Tommy.
Bye.
Okay. There's just a little bit of news here, James.
Only a
Just
little. Let's
bit.
get through this.
Only a little bit. Okay, I'm going to kick things off. So the biggest news of the day is that the exhibitor floor map is officially out. So we've got the map, we've got the list. There's some surprises. There's some folks who are not returning. The highlights here are Warner Brothers is still just the DC booth this year. They did the same thing last year, so really nothing new there. Lionsgate has a booth. We talked about that with Germain, but I feel like if they have a booth, odds are decent that they have a panel. On the TV side, Disney TV has a booth, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, Paramount Plus. New this year is Sony Pictures Television. Ooh.
Oh.
And if you go look at their site, like Sony Pictures TV makes an awful lot of cool stuff, including like The Boys and so much more. So go look at like what all they make, and I honestly have no idea what's going to be at that booth, but I am very curious to find out. Doctor Who booth is back. There's no AMC, Netflix, or Stars, but that's the same as last year. All the usual booths are pretty much there, with a couple of exceptions, which include, as we mentioned earlier, Entertainment Earth is not there this year. And then I'm so brain dead. Blizzard is not there this year either, which we had heard a while back. And then I've seen a bunch of people today talking about Skybound and how they're not there. But I really think they are there, guys. It's just that with the one exception of last year, they've always been part of Image Comics booth.
Yeah, they've always been part of Image.
Always. The only reason they had like their own separate big booth last year was because it was all their big anniversaries for The Walking Dead and Invincible, and they made like a big deal about like for the first time ever, like Skybound is its own booth, but it's not an anniversary year anymore. So I think they've just gone back to being part of Image. So I don't think there's anything weird or even worth talking about there.
Yep. So Germain mentioned it in passing, talking about stuff, and the banners are up in the gas lamp. And this year it's Marvel again, which they've done a lot of the years over the last decade. And it's the Fantastic Four banners, and they are amazing. And I know some people don't like them. I don't understand why. It's the Fantastic Four. It's got the cool mid-century design. It's got a banner with Reed Richards and Johnny Storm on one, and then Sue Storm and Ben Grimm on the other. And I think they're amazing. And so go down and get some cool pictures of them, because you can get them with the convention center in the background or whatever you want. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And as we previously discussed, I mean, it very much sounds like Marvel is in Hall H. Like Deadline confirmed it. Kevin Feige made that comment on the podcast about like, oh, well, Fantastic Four starts filming the Monday after Comic-Con. Like, they're going to be in Hall H, guys. $7 a pop announced the first round of their signings. I think there will be more to come, but they have some huge names again this year, including Ashley Eckstein, Sean Astin, Steve Downs, Jen Taylor, and more. These are paid autographs, but they're really not that bad. And you can pre-order some of their VIP if they've still got those packages. And yeah, I mean, it's a great lineup of talent.
Is there anything else? I mean, we know Marvel is coming to Hall H. We already talked about that a ton. There's just like a few other news bits, right?
Yeah, there is a few other news bits. We've got some more panels news. We've put up our list of panels, including Jurassic World Chaos Theory will be there. The Bethesda game Starfield will be there. I think we have like 80 plus panels on that list. I continue to update it daily, so go check that out. The other big thing that happened is the shuttle schedule got announced. So we have been getting asked for months, like, where's the shuttle schedule? It never changes that much year to year, but still it is officially out, and that is always very exciting. So on to offsites, right?
Yep.
The biggest news of the week is that fandom is back. So we had Jonah Keel from 42 West Fandoms and Franchises on a couple weeks back, and he basically confirmed that fandom was coming back, but now we officially know it will be Thursday night as per usual at the top of the Hard Rock. We don't know this year's musical guest. We don't know how to score tickets yet. Last year it was a lottery where you would sign up, and I truly don't know. But I would bet that it's probably the same again this year. This year, their partners are Z2, who's going to be doing a graphic novel exhibition. And the one that I'm really excited about is the only video game that I play is Dragon Age. And the new Dragon Age, the Veilguard, is going to be there. So I am very excited for that. And then
Lucky
Pinfinity,
you.
lucky me. And then Pinfinity will also be there again as well.
All right. And then I see Julian's auctions.
Yes. So you say that like, do you not know what this is?
I haven't looked at it yet. I've been so busy I
Okay.
didn't get a chance to look at it.
Okay, so Julian's Auctions is a auction house out in I think LA, and they do all kinds of different auctions, but they also do a lot of like Hollywood auctions. And they have teamed up with Turner Classic Movies and the Comic-Con Museum, and they are going to be holding an exhibit at the Comic-Con Museum starting July 15th, where they will be bringing props, wardrobe, production materials, all kinds of different stuff from several of your fan favorite movies like Harry Potter, X-Men, Captain America. The list goes on, but those will be on display. And then on the last day of the convention, they will actually have the live auction at the museum. And you can even attend the live auction, or if you want to actually go to the convention and still bid, you can always just register online and do it like you could for any auction. So.
Okay.
And actually, one of the coolest things about this, and I'm actually super into this because I collect props like in my free time, is that they said their hope is to do this every year. So I think that's wonderful.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We got the schedule for the rooftop cinema at the Embarcadero. They are showing movies all week long from Monday through Sunday, but not Friday. So if you would like to see what movies are showing when you're in town early, we have the schedule on the site. For Saturday, they're showing movies all day long. Finding Nemo, Sister Act, The Grease Sing-Along, and The Bodyguard. And then Sunday is Jurassic Park, Dirty Dancing, The Greatest Showman Sing-Along, and Dune Part 2. So some pretty fun.
Some of those movies are definitely more Comic-Con themed than others.
Some of them are. Some of them are not quite Comic-Con themed.
Yes. Okay, let's pause for a second. I know we're trying to get through these, but let's pause. So Friday night, as we said, is open right now. And typically what that means is that there is a screening. In the past, Amazon has taken that spot. I truly don't know what's coming, but in my mind, I feel like there are two good contenders here. One is Batman Caped Crusader, the animated thing, which comes out like just after the convention. That seems like an easy thing to do. Or option two is maybe they show the first episode of season 2 of Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's only like 4 weeks or so before the new season starts. Like, I think there's a possibility that they could show it. So
I think so. I think the Amazon one it's favored, I think.
Totally. So I am very curious to see what winds up in that spot, but I bet you anything that there is a screening. Okay, so Box Lunch will also be back. They will be at the corner of First Street and J. all 4 days of the convention, and they will be giving away swag. So make sure you stop by. On Saturday, they will actually be partnering with FigPen, where you have the chance to win a rare artist proof pen in your grab bag. So that's cool. And they'll also have like ice cream and cool treats and other stuff.
And we previously announced the Mission Hill 25th anniversary event that's going to be happening at Comic-Con, and they added special guest Brian Posehn. He'll be at that as well. There's going to be they're going to show some remastered episodes. They're going to do Q&A. There's going to be all kinds of fun stuff. Tickets are available now. You can get general admission or a VIP meet and greet.
Yep. Yesterday's, if you pre-ordered your t-shirts or your pens, they will be holding a pre-sale party pickup on Tuesday, July 23rd at Nuclear Comics in North Park. Now, that is about a 15-minute drive, but there's parking within about 3 blocks for only $1. And if you're picking up, they also have a free pen for the first 200 guests, and they'll have pizza and beer while supplies last. Plus, like, if you're in town and you have nothing else like going on Tuesday, like, go pick up your stuff. You can mark something off your list. You can start the convention early. Like, why not?
Why not?
Why
I think
not?
the next one, actually, the next two that we have here are very Carrie centric. The first one up is the Voodoo Ranger is back, the Shipwrecked Bar in San Diego. We have the hours. We know what's up. So it's basically the same as previous years, right?
Yeah, it's basically the same as previous years. As always, 100% of the proceeds go to Landfest, which is an organization focused on building healthy communities through gaming. But I mean, look, the Cliff Notes version here is the pirate ship is back. The pirate ship is awesome. We love the pirate ship. The other thing that is happening on the pirate ship is that me, Carrie, co-host and Our Flag Means Death meetup. And even though the show is sadly not coming back, we will still be having our meetup. It will be on Sunday again from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We definitely hope you stop by. We will have some swag and some cool items to give you guys, both on the ship and while you wait. And it's just like normal. Like the first 50 people get a free beer, thanks to Voodoo Ranger. It is 21 plus, but I mean, it's fun. You get to hang out with cool people on a pirate ship. Like, come on.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and I see Lizzie. Lizzie is in the chat, and she is my co-captain on that. So, hi, Lizzie. Okay, on to exclusives.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. You take the first one and then we'll just alternate these.
Okay. All right. So coming up first, while James loads this, I am going to talk very slowly. It is Christmas in July with Hallmark's first Comic-Con announcement. Okay, yes. Okay, so Hallmark has tons of exclusives this year, as well as panels, but their exclusives include like a Star Wars Sand People keepsake ornament. They have a Sega Genesis console, which to me is probably the coolest thing of this lineup. They've got a Squid Game Funko thing, Star Trek Generations Enterprise ship. They've got an X-Men Wolverine, they've got a Pokeball, and then they've got some pens. They've got all kinds of cool stuff. So Hallmark is always one of the hottest booths on the show floor. So if you want these, I would definitely plan on making this like your first stop of one of the days. The nice thing, though, is that they do restock every day.
Good. All right. And then next up, we have Hasbro, which we got 4 exclusives announced for Hasbro. And first up, we have the Transformers Legacy United Voyager class Fractured Friendship 2-pack, which is going to be $74.99. The G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Commander Once a Man for $39.99. The Marvel Legends series Death's Head for $39.99. And finally, the Star Wars Black Series Darth Maul and Sith Speeder for $59.99. Now, what has changed is they are going back to being in-person sales, not the QR codes on little pieces of paper. They will be in the lottery, the exclusives lottery in the portal, which will be opening in just a few days next week on the 8th. So be prepared to do the usual, try and get these if you are really looking forward to them. They will also, of course, have a small amount available on the Hasbro Pulse website. So you can get them there if you are not going to Comic-Con. We'll try to get them there if you're not going to Comic-Con. But that's what's up with Hasbro so far.
Yes. And I will say, I know that so many of you have asked, like, where the heck are they going to sell these if they only have one booth on the show floor? And I am trying to get an answer. So I will let you guys know when I find that out.
And of course, we'll if anyone has, like someone asked in Iron Souls asked, will Pulse members have priority? We'll find out. I'm sure they're going to announce what the rules are for picking things up and such.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Okay, so yesterday's has several items. Let's start with their sketchbooks. They've got 2 new colorways this year for their SDCC exclusive sketchways, including red and blue. They're gorgeous. Really like these. They're limited to 200 each and $20. They also have a Misfits sketchbook. This one is just debuting at the convention. And then they also have a Misfit corner box enamel pen, which I think is really pretty. And then do we have the others, or is this all we put?
I think that's all we got. I think the other stuff was later today, maybe. We did that last week.
Okay, then we're good.
Yes,
it all blends together.
It does. It does. When I see this stuff, when I'm going through each one, I'm like, did we do that last week? And I checked it and like, it was the same day as the podcast. Did we actually do it?
Oh, I know. It's hard sometimes. Okay,
right.
Carry on.
All right. So now we just talked to Tommy from Factory, but here are their exclusives in their cool product photos. These are the last 3 that they announced. So they are done announcing exclusives. It's the Star Trek Original Series Catspaw Enterprise prop replica. Let me find I got to scroll for the next one. It is the Battlestar Galactica Viper Mark II bottle opener. And finally, the House of the Dragon Crown of King Viserys whatever, how you pronounce her name, Targaryen, prop replica, scaled prop replica. So those are the last 3 along with their other 4. And again, you can win some of them if you enter on the site, and you can also pre-order for delivery, so you don't have to get them at Comic-Con.
Awesome. So Fat Rabbit Farms exclusives actually launched while we were on this podcast for their Wave 2.
I'm going. There we go.
Okay. And actually that fun little lanyard and pen set has already sold out online, so you can still get it at the booth. But they have several really fun items this year. My favorite exclusives are always like anything that actually ties into the convention. So I love that pen and lanyard set. They've got a really fun like Hall H Monster t-shirt, which I think is cool. And then they also did an Atomic Puffs set, which is basically their play on Fallout, and it's all packaged in like a cereal box, and it's retro and it's fun. They said just a minute ago that those are actually like halfway sold out online. So, yep.
Yeah, and they have more stuff on the site than what's there. So you can check it all out.
Yes, they do.
And next up, we have Toddland. And first up, King of the Hill stuff, which is a lot. King of the Hill is already launched. They launched just a few days ago. And then there's more stuff than this again, because they have so many cool things. They have t-shirts, and they have stickers, and they have pins, and all kinds of things. And then they also have Solar Opposites items, again, t-shirts and pins and stickers. And if you are fans of these, then you are going to want to get some of these Toddland exclusives.
Yes, you are. But again, their tees and totes are no longer available for pre-order for pickup at the booth. You have sadly missed those dates. Okay, let's talk about Priscilla Wilson. So Priscilla has a couple of exclusives. Is this the only one you did?
Nope, there's all of them. So it's just
Okay.
multiple spots because the pictures were weird shaped.
Okay, that's fine. Just making sure. So first up, she has some fins and scales playing cards. So last year she did a really pretty birds themed set, and this year it's all about fish. And each one features artwork that was hand drawn by her. The standard deck will debut at the convention for $12, or there is a limited edition for $15. But these are really pretty. My favorite of her exclusives, though, I'm hoping is the next slide. And it is. So I really love this, but she has a little acrylic shaker backpack keychain that is basically like your backpack for the convention. So it's got all the things that you would need. So like water, suntan lotion, a Sharpie, cash, your cell phone, your schedule. And if you shake it, like the little pieces inside actually move around. So I think that's really cool. But that is $12, and you can pick that up at the convention. And then she is also offering some blank do-it-yourself Sunye figures for the first time. These will be $35. And if you are not able to grab this for any reason at the convention, she will also have more online afterwards. She will also be bringing some stickers to Funko Fun Days on Friday night. If you happen to be there, go stop her and check those out. She also has a ton of pens, which all glow in the dark, which is really fun. My favorite of which is the Sunye and Tortai and the gas lamp. That one will actually be free at the Sunye meetup, but the rest will be $12 and are limited editions of between actually they're all 74 except the meetup one. So very fun.
All right. And then you know what? Let's swap and you take the next one.
Okay.
Because it's Patrick.
Okay. All right. So Patrick has a couple of new items. First up, he has a collaboration with Little Shop of Pen, who are also wonderful people. This is part of his Jeepney Cultura series. And it features some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, though we cannot call them that officially, but it is his Jeepney Cultura green Machin pen set, and it pays tribute to his Filipino heritage. That one will be available at both Patrick's booth and Little Shop of Pen's booth for $22 each. He also showed off a Kaiju Club patch. It's an iron-on patch that will be available for $25, and it's limited to 200. And then the one I think everybody's really excited about is his Class Council pen, which is another property that I cannot say the name of, but it is excellent. So there you go. And that one will be, I think I said this, but $15 and limited to 175 pieces. And I think that one is going to be harder to get.
Probably. Okay, so then next up we have Monogram, and they have 4 more items that they have revealed. A Peanuts Deluxe gift set for $40, limited to 400 pieces. We have a Halo 2 20th Anniversary 3D Foam Bag Clips 3-piece set for $25, limited to 300 pieces. Deadpool and Wolverine Lanyard and Pin set, limited to 700 pieces, and it'll be $20. And finally, a Barbie Deluxe gift set for $40, limited to 300 pieces. And as always, their stuff is so cute. And if you want lanyards and pins and all the kinds of cool stuff, then this is where you go, because they're going to have a ton of it.
Yes. Okay. So Little Shop of Pen, as I mentioned, will also have half of the Patrick Ballesteros collab pens for the Jeepney. And then he's also been doing these really fun Polly Pocket pens. So last week he showed off, it's like a Polly Pocket Beach compact hinge. So it's like a compact, and it actually opens up to reveal like the world of Polly Pocket, just like the toys you played with as a kid. But this week he showed off like a 3-piece magnet set so that you can actually take the Polly Pockets and like put them on the compact wherever you want them. So I don't know, it's like Polly Pocket for adults. But it's really fun, it's really clever. It's celebrating the 35th anniversary, and those are $14.
And the last one I'm going to handle is a BB Create is coming out with exclusive daily pins. And these ones are what if Star Wars was the Star Wars universe had Comic-Con. So each of these pins is going to be about San Diego, and it's going to have some Star Wars theming to it, and you can get one each day. The pins will be $20 each. And if you get all 5 of the daily pins, you will be able to receive an exclusive mystery pin. So good luck for those hunting these down. You will be heading to booth 1334 and check it out.
Okay, and then I'm going to share my screen.
Because we had some breaking news.
Yes, we've had some exclusives today. Here, let me make this bigger. Okay, so Twink will be back with several booths on the show floor, but all of the ones that I'm about to show you can get at booth number 121 or 3849 because they have so many booths. Like if you were interested in any of these, make sure you write down the booth number, because what you don't want is to show up, just type in Twink like into the app, but then you go to the wrong booth because they're not all the same. But they will have a whole bunch of Futurama items, including like this Futurama Brain Slug headband for $12, this super cute Futurama Bender chibi plush. It's 8 inches. It will be $25. All of these will be debuting at the convention, for the record. And then they've also got a Zoidberg plush also for $25. They've got a Nibbler and a hat. So super fun items that says Blessed by the Bean. And then I was also going to show off UCC if I can see my screen.
Where is stuff?
You get to watch me type. Okay. UCC distributing. We showed off UCC distributing has 60 plus items this year.
Only
so
60-ish.
I said more than 60. More than 60. So this is only the start of several announcements. But today we showed off their Neopets Blue Starry plush, which will be available for $24.99. There will also be an Aisha plush over at the Neopets booth. Both are limited to 500 pieces. And then they've got some Littlest Pet Shop figures, which come with a code. And to quote UCC, who's been saying this every time I talk to him, Littlest Pet Shop is really hot right now. I've heard that so many times in the last month.
Cute.
But yes, they're super cute. There's 3 different colorways. There's a red, there's a yellow or gold, and then there's a green. So super cute. Tons more to come. UCC makes good stuff. They will be part of the exclusive portal, which again opens on Monday, July 8th.
All right. Oh boy. Now
Oh boy.
speed read.
Okay, let's see how fast I can read these. So Funko is coming back, which we know. We have not seen their exclusives yet, but they will be doing their Funkoville or the Funko International Airport. You can go get a passport to get stamped at the different booths. They will have a Pop Yourself booth where you can get yourself popped with Deadpool or Wolverine accessories. I think that'll be really popular. That one, it sounds like, will not be part of the lottery. So Godspeed to anybody who wants to wait in that line. Bandai showed off their Tamagotchi, which I know Val, at least in our chat, is super excited about. And I hear that Bandai has lots of really awesome things planned for this year. So I'm very excited to see more of what they've got going on. Udon showed off their swimsuit special as well as a t-shirt, and again, tons more exclusives for Udon still to come. Diamond previews started to unveil more of their exclusives. We got some last week, but then this week we got some more of the toys, like some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mini mates, some comics, and more. You can find all that up on the site. Alex Ross continues to make just gorgeous artwork and variant prints and all kinds of things that you can get. And it was also announced today that it sounds like Alex Ross will actually be coming to the convention, which he doesn't normally, for a panel for his upcoming documentary about Kingdom Come. So that's very exciting and very big news. Martin Sue, his online shop will reopen on, I believe, July 12th, where you can get all of his Ted Lasso cats, Bridgerton cats, and so much more. If you're interested in any of the original art, make sure that you go email him at the email address in the post so that you can get on that list. McFarlane Toys showed off a gold Superman statue. No word yet on where to get it. My money's on the DC booth. We'll see. Beast Kingdom showed off 4 exclusives, including Lord of the Rings, Rick and Morty, and more. Butts on Things started their announcements, which include like a pineapple butt luggage pen, and then if you wear like Crocs, they've got little charms for your shoes. They've got more stuff coming. Chris Mays has announced 2 things so far, including the return of his summer camp pen with a new variant this year, and then today he showed off a really, really pretty Gambit and Rogue print that's like a playing card, and that one people seemed super interested in. As I mentioned, Neopets is back. No party this year, but they will have all different kinds of items on the show floor at booths, including like What's Your Passion jewelry. We'll have Neopets pens as well as pens for Care Bears, including some Care Bears holding like front of the line, end of the line signs. Those are cute. What's Your Passion jewelry will also have The Walking Dead, Winx, more to come on that. Upper Deck, we showed off their first exclusive today, which was, you guessed it, Neopets. They will have starter decks and a booster box available at the booth for the new Neopets Battle Dome trading card game. Super 7 has been announcing their exclusives. You have to pay attention to Super 7 because they're in different places. So like some exclusives are for the booth. Some exclusives are for the store at their Dungeons and Dragons pop-up. We haven't seen it yet, but I'm very much assuming that some will be at their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Friday pizza party thing. JYK All Day showed off some new items. I was doing so good, and now I'm like, what did he show off this week versus last week? Gonna have to look this one up.
Ah,
I know.
it was
okay.
It was a stellar run though. That was awesome.
I can do this. Okay, yes. I didn't write this one up is the problem. Aaron did. So JYK All Day, he showed off a new Voltron print, which will be $20, as well as a Transformers Elite Dino Warriors print. And the funniest thing to me is that I saw a whole bunch of like Transformer sites posting this is new official artwork, and I was like, no, it's like JYK All Day's print, guys. Like, calm down. Anyway, Mezco Toys showed off a G.I. Joe Snake Eyes figure, which looks freaking awesome. Like, I don't even like G.I. Joe, and I'm like, this looks phenomenal. Loyal Subjects showed off a few more items, including the rest of their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pieces, and we got prices for all of those. Symbiote Studios has been showing off their exclusives. Was it last week? Time has no meaning anymore. That we got their Transformers Dino Bot Sludge thing. So it's from the movie, and like in the movie he gets like crushed and his eyes like pop out. It's that thing. And then Essential Sequential has a ton of amazing artists at their booth offering commissions and prints and so much more, including they've got items for like Arthur Adams and yeah, just a whole bunch of legendary folks. So you can find all of that and more on our site.
So much more.
So much more.
So we're about ready to wrap up. Did want to answer a quick question from Blade. On Monday, talking about the lottery, do you sign up for Hall H or do we just line up at the event? No panels are ever in the lottery. It's only for exclusives and some autographs, select autographs. So yes, you would just line up for the event, for the panel. Hall H for Marvel, the line's going to start probably on Wednesday ish, maybe. Yeah, pretty much on Wednesday, maybe Thursday. We'll actually get more than a few people. But yeah, it starts really early if you want it on Saturday. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that's the way Comic-Con goes. Were there any other questions we needed to answer? We'll get to some of those other ones maybe in one of the next couple of podcasts when we have a little bit more time.
Yes. You keep talking. All
right. So next up, we have the attendee of the week is happening every week. So if you would like to be attendee, please send in your information using go click on the be the attendee of the week on the site. And we will pick somebody from all of the entries.
Yes.
Friendship bracelets.
And then Yes, this is my weekly plea is please join me in making friendship bracelets, guys. Like, they don't have to be clever. Like, this says Hall H. Like, I've got some that literally just say like SDCC. This one says like SDCCU blog. We've got instructions on the site for how to make these. If you want to know, like, how do you let people know you have them to trade. We retweeted somebody earlier who bought like little badge ribbons. She is offering, if you just shoot her a DM, she'll mail you one for just $1 to cover postage. Or again, my suggestion is also like buy a carabiner. They're cheap. You can attach it to your lanyard. And then like that's so easy to see, like, hey, that person like has this thing like on their lanyard. They must have friendship bracelets.
There
So
you go.
please join me because I'm determined to make this a thing this year.
I think you're fine. I think it's a thing now. They
I,
may
I
not
think so
be,
too. But
I mean, there may
let me
not be
do my weekly plea.
50,000 people walking around with them, but I'm sure there's going to be more than a few dozen.
Yeah,
And there are going to be
no, I
plenty.
agree. I agree. I also just want to say that like I have loved just like seeing everybody else's bracelets like in our feed or in the Discord or like randomly on Facebook. Like, I don't know. It makes my heart happy. Sean was saying like, he was like, this is not my thing, so I don't really get it. And I'm like, it's a wholesome thing. Like we love crafts. You know, it's a wholesome thing to get to do to connect with another fan. Like you get to trade with somebody. I don't know. I think it's fun. So
It's definitely fun. It's why the ribbons at smaller conventions take off, and they happen at Comic-Con, but it's not so much a Comic-Con thing. But a lot of other conventions do the ribbons, and it's the same thing. It's finding people,
yes,
that like the same thing you do, and seeing the creativity that they have in making those little ribbons. So same thing.
absolutely.
It's awesome.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. If you appreciate the work that we do have a Patreon, which helps to keep the lights on over here because our hosting bill in July is crazy. But all the money that you give us goes back into doing fun giveaways for you guys or for the site. And our patrons also get some special perks. So if you enjoyed that crazy quick rundown of me reading off all the posts, I do that once a week. And our patrons also get first dibs at our party tickets. So if you were somebody who really wished you would have gotten a ticket to our party, best suggestion for next year is to join our patron.
Just for Comic-Con time, just for like June and July, just to help pay the bill that looks like the graph that goes like this. For how much it costs. I think that's it. That's going to wrap it up for today. Thanks to both Germain and Tom from Factory for coming on and talking to us about the movies and exclusives. And next week, are we going to have a guest? We are.
Yes, we are. So next week we will be joined by Eric Goldman, who has been kind enough to join us for many years to do kind of what we did tonight with Germain, but for the TV side of things. However, it will be on a new night, which is
all
good
new.
because all new, which is good because we're going to have an awful lot of podcasts next week. James, do you want to run down that list?
Sure. So the new night for Eric Goldman is going to be Monday night, the 8th. So tune in on Monday, right after the holiday weekend. You can get your fix of Comic-Con news. And then we will be coming back 4 days later on Friday night for the first of two schedule podcasts where we break down the schedule for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on Friday night. And then on Sunday at 6 p.m., we will be doing the Saturday and Sunday schedule and breaking that down. And then we will be back for the final podcast before Comic-Con on the Tuesday following that. And then that will wrap it up. And then it will be 1 week until Comic-Con. And it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. 22 days, like that does not feel real. I don't understand how like it feels so far away and then all of a sudden every year it's like this every year. It's all of a sudden just like, yeah, it's time. Oh, okay.
All right.
So
yeah, 4 podcasts in the next in the next 8 days.
Yeah.
Something like that. Some crazy
not
number.
a lot at all. Not a lot at all. Okay, we do have a newsletter which you can sign up for at the bottom of our site. We do send it out weekly leading up to Comic-Con. So if you miss any sort of news, like it is a great little recap to check that out.
All right. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us either live or listening to us on whatever platform you choose. Carrie, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Carrie Dixon. James, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
I am everywhere at Dan Regal, and you can also check out Citizens of Lorcana, a podcast about the Disney Lorcana trading card game that I do every week. In fact, I'm about ready. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to record this week's episode immediately after this. Thank you to Beth, our producer, for editing the show and creating the slides and getting this into your ears.
We are on iTunes. If you'd like to subscribe, the links are up on the blog, or you can search for SDConCast. If you like what you've heard so far, please review us. We are also on Stitcher Radio and Spotify, and the links are in the show notes.
If you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at info@sdccblog.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sdconblog, or tweet us at sd_comic_con. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and go shawarma.